Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 5 of the Positive Pathway podcast presented by the Behind the Badge Project. This episode is titled Stay in Your Lane, the Rookie's Playbook. I'm really excited about today's episode because we're going to do something slightly different. We spent a lot of time talking about mental health, addiction, trauma, recovery, and things that can happen to first responders throughout their careers. And we're going to continue having those conversations, obviously. But today I want to talk directly to the recruits and the rookies. I hope you guys are listening. I hope you guys listen to my videos. The people who are just starting out this journey, right? The people who are sitting in the academy right now. The people who are going to get sworn in or just got sworn in. The ones that are going to go through field training. The young officers who are just trying to figure out how this whole profession, this beautiful job works. It really is an awesome job. And here's the thing. You don't have to learn every lesson the hard way. That's what I want this episode to be about, because when you first put that uniform on, you're so excited, man. It's awesome. That feeling you get, you're proud. Your family's proud. Your friends are proud. You worked your ass off to get there, and you're thinking about the career you're going to build. So many emotions running through you, right? There are things that nobody can completely teach you in the academy classrooms. It's physically impossible. It's impossible. These are things you learn by watching. These are things you learn by making mistakes. And unfortunately, there are things some people learn after it's too late. It's like shitty to say, but that's how it goes. So if you're a recruit or a rookie listening to this, please listen closely. And if you're a veteran, I want you to think back to the person who you were when you first put that uniform on. Because somewhere along the way, a lot changed. And sometimes we change for the better. Sometimes we pick up shitty habits, attitudes, and behaviors that we proudly wish we hadn't. Right? We can all be honest about that. So today we're going to talk about balance, professionalism, negativity, co-workers, leadership, asking questions, how you treat the public, and most importantly, who you become while you're wearing that uniform. Because all I ask is don't lose your balance. Okay? Let's start with something I believe every recruit needs to hear. Stay balanced. And I'm not talking about standing on one fucking foot either. I'm talking about your life. Stay balanced, please. I can't say that enough. Stay balanced, stay balanced, stay balanced. Because when you first start this profession, yes, you're excited. You want to work. You want the overtime. You want to go out there and prove yourself. Yeah, look at me. Training classes. Yeah, sign me up for every single training class there is. You want to be the guy or the girl who's always available. I miss those days. God damn it. You want to prove yourself. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with being ambitious. But here's where it can become dangerous. The job can slowly become your entire identity. And you don't even realize it's happening. You start talking about, work at home. You start thinking about work when you're off. You're constantly checking your phone. You're hanging out with coworkers every day. You're off. You're talking about calls. You're talking about arrests. Uh, I'm sure you're talking about supervisors. I mean, talking about who's getting promoted, all the bullshit gossip, you know, who's getting overtime. This guy, he always gets overtime, or she always gets overtime, or the infamous who's getting jammed up, who's getting in trouble, or who's sleeping with who, or who's screwing up, doing this, doing that, and suddenly your entire life revolves around this fucking agency. That's not balance. I repeat, that is not balance. That is not balance. You need something outside of that freaking uniform. Your family, your friends, not police friends. You need hobbies. You need exercise. You need time where nobody knows you're a cop. You need to be able to take that uniform physically off and mentally off, because eventually the job is going to give you things you don't want to carry home. I'm telling you, believe me, okay? And if you don't have a life outside this job where you're going to put all that, it's something I wish more recruits understood. Your career is part of your life. It should not become your entire life. Drill that in your head, please. Block out the negative talk too. I'm going to talk about this negative talk. Every agency has it. I don't care how squared away your department is. Every agency has the negative talk. I don't care where you work. You're going to hear it. This place sucks. Administration doesn't care. What else is there? That supervisor doesn't know what the fuck he's doing or she's doing. Don't bother trying. That's not how things work around here. It's what else? Wait until you've been here for 10 years, or everybody screws everybody, or you're going to hear all this nonsense. And here's my advice: do not absorb it. You can listen without accepting it. There's a difference, because negativity is so contagious you don't even realize. And sometimes the most negative person in that room doesn't even realize that they are negative anymore, because they are so used to it. I shit you not. It just becomes their fucking personality. It's so frustrating. They wake up angry. They go to work angry. They complain about everything. Every department has it. I don't care where you are, what agency, everyone has it. Eventually, they convince themselves that they're the smartest person in the building, because everybody else is an idiot, right? Don't become that person. Please, you don't have to participate in that nonsense. You can simply say, that's not really how I see it, or I'm just going to stay focused on doing my job. As corny as it sounds, but fuck it, who cares? Or just don't say anything at all. You don't have to win every argument. You're not going to. You don't have to respond to every comment. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is literally just walk away. All right, see you later. I'm out. Protect your mindset, because once you start believing all this negative shit around you, you're going to start seeing everything through that lens. That's a nasty lens. And that's when your career can change. I'm telling you. Stop seeing the good. Stop seeing the people you're helping. You stop, seeing the reason that you started. Everything becomes a complaint. Everything becomes administration versus the officers, or us versus them, and eventually you lose yourself. Don't let that happen, please. I hope, God, I just freaking hope enough recruits and rookies are listening to this, where if we can send this to them, just stay in your lane. Stay in your goddamn lane. That's one of the biggest lessons that I can teach you right now. Stay in your lane. And I don't want to. I want to get into what I think that means. When you're a rookie, you're trying to figure everything out. You want to know everything. You want to know what everybody's doing. You want to know what's happening with another officer, right? You want to know what to you know what to do about getting, let's say, disciplined, or who's getting disciplined, or who's getting promoted, who's getting investigated, who's getting transferred, and I don't know. Sometimes you can get yourself into a whole lot of trouble by involving yourself in things that have absolutely nothing to do with you. My advice: do your job, learn your job, become great at your job, and don't let another person tell you otherwise. Okay? Worry about your responsibilities. Don't be the officer who's constantly looking for something to report about to another officer just because you don't like them. No, stay in your fucking lane. Don't be the officer who's spreading rumors. Stay in your fucking lane. Don't be the officer who's taking something somebody said and then twisting it and turning it into something completely different. Because that'll happen. That will happen. I'm telling you that'll happen. Stay in your lane. Don't be the officer who's trying to get another officer jammed up over a personal disagreement, inside or outside work. Stay in your lane. That's not professionalism. That's drama. And if you want that drama, you're in a whole lot of you're screwed. I'm telling you, you're screwed. I want to make something very clear. Okay, there's a difference between staying in your lane and ignoring serious misconduct. If you see corruption, obviously don't ignore it. If you see somebody abusing their authority, don't ignore it. Okay. If you see, if somebody's putting the public or another officer in danger, yes, don't ignore that. Serious misconduct. You follow the proper procedures and report the ones that are not being followed properly. That's not being a snitch, okay? That's being responsible. So when I say stay in your lane, I'm talking about something completely different, okay? Don't make somebody else's business your hobby. It's corny, it's immature, it's stupid. Just do your job. Maintain your integrity, okay? And let the appropriate people handle the appropriate issues. Because your reputation, it should matter. It definitely should matter to you. And people remember the officer who's always seems to be involved in everybody else's business. Everyone knows who that is. Study the pros in your agency. When you're a rookie, pay attention. Oh, I'm gonna go comfortable here. Watch people. Not in a creepy way, obviously. It's all about learning. Every agency has people who should learn from. 1,000%. There's always those top-notch officers. You might have a senior officer who's been around for 20 years. They don't yell. They don't have to prove anything. They know the law. They know how to do, they know how to communicate. They know how to de-escalate. They know when to talk, but they also know when to shut up. They treat people with the utmost respect. They treat their coworkers with the utmost respect. And somehow, when they're around, you know, things just seem to work. That's the person you should be watching. Study that person. I guarantee there's more than one person, but study that person. Maybe it's a sergeant, maybe it's a corporal, or maybe just another patrolman, senior officer. You know, maybe it's somebody who isn't even the highest ranking person in the building, but study them, study them, study them, study them. You'll know who it is. Watch how they operate. Watch how they talk to people. Watch how they handle conflict. Watch how they handle being criticized. Study them your whole career. Watch how they handle being wrong. Because here's something you need to know and understand. Experience doesn't automatically make somebody a good officer. That is for damn sure. Okay? You can carry 20 years and still have terrible habits. So don't just copy somebody because they've been there for a long time. Listen, I'm moving this podcast to under my deck because it's starting to rain really shitty right now. So yeah, those are the people. Like I said, I guarantee there's one person, at least one cop, at least in your PD that is so fucking squared away from A to Z. It's almost like watching a great movie or like a great boxer. It's just fun. It's fun to watch. It really is fun to watch. So there you go. Yeah. So look at their character. Look at their professionalism. Just look how they treat people. Look how their coworkers talk about them when they're not in the room. That's always a good one. I love that one. That's the person you want to learn from. So when you see that person, ask questions, especially that person. Please, there's nothing wrong with saying whatever, I don't know, or there's nothing wrong with saying, can you show me how to do it again? I'm confused, or there's nothing wrong with I've never dealt with this before, or how would you handle this? Please. When I was at FTO, I used to beg officers to ask questions. Because if you're afraid to ask questions, that's a problem. No one's gonna think you're stupid. Nobody expects you to know everything. You're new. Don't act like you know everything either. Don't be that jerk off. You're supposed to have questions. And the best thing is you're asking questions about you're showing somebody that you care about become better. You're saying, I want to do this right. That's a good thing. Find officers who are willing to teach. And when somebody gives you advice, please listen. You don't have to agree with every piece of advice that you receive, but just listen. This is about staying in your lane, right? Take the good, learn from the mistakes, and continue improving. Because the goal shouldn't be, to become the officer who thinks they know everything. Please don't. Please, I'm begging you, please don't. The goal should be, the officer that never stops learning, so to speak. Always interested, always wants to know more. Be like that guy. That guy also respects the public. You know what I mean? Yeah, here's something that can happen over time as far as being the public. You see the same problems over and over again, right? Or you will. Domestic disputes, drug overdoses, mental health crisis, homelessness, people making terrible decisions, people re- repeatedly getting arrested, and eventually you start to become numb to it. You start thinking, oh Jesus Christ, here we go again. Yeah, it's the same Joe Smith. I know this person. They're always like this. They'll never change. And maybe you've dealt with that person 10 times, maybe 20 times. But remember something. You don't know what happened before you arrived. You don't know what happened that morning. You don't know what happened, you know, to them as a child. You don't know what they're battling. You don't know if they're addicted to a substance or alcohol. You don't know if they're suffering from a mental health issue, or maybe somebody close to them just died. Maybe they're just scared, or they're embarrassed, or just completely lost with life. And I'm not saying you don't you don't enforce the law. Of course you do. Do your job. Freaking flies. Do your job. You maintain safety. You follow policy. Of course. You do what you were sworn to do. But you can do all that while still treating someone like a human being, especially someone experiencing addiction or mental health crisis. That person may be at the lowest point of their life. You might be the only person that they interact with that day. And who knows? You might have the ability to make a difference for that person. Maybe you can't fix their addiction. Maybe you can't fix their mental health issues. Maybe you can't fix their entire life. But you can control how you treat them. And sometimes respect is the first step towards somebody actually believing that they're worth saving. Don't become cynical. There's a difference between, being realistic and being cynical. Realistic means I know bad things can happen. Cynical means everybody's bad. Fuck that. Realistic means some people are going to be are going to lie to me. Cynical means everyone's a liar. Another example. Realistic means I'm going to be careful. Cynical means I don't trust anybody. You see the difference? Don't let this profession, this awesome job, convince you that humanity is terrible, because it's not. You're going to see some of the shittiest things, but you're also going to see incredible things. You're going to see people help strangers. You're going to see families come together. You're going to see people surviving things they never thought that they could survive. You're going to see addiction recovery. You're going to see people change. I love that. I freaking love that. You're going to see children grow up. You're going to see coworkers run towards danger when everyone else is running the opposite way. Badass feeling. Don't allow the worst moments of the job to erase the good ones. Have a good reputation, man. Have a good reputation. Start it now. Your reputation starts the first day you walk through that door. People are watching. The supervisor's watching. The training officers, yeah, they're watching. Your nosy ass co-workers are definitely watching. And eventually, the community is going to know you. They're going to ask you a million times, who are you, who are you, who are you? You don't have to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. Everybody does. But own them. Own them. Correct them. Own them, correct them. And then move forward. You know? Don't lie to cover up a mistake. That makes matters worse. Don't blame somebody else. That makes matters worse. Don't throw your coworker under the bus to save yourself from something that you did. Please don't fucking do that. That's just stupid. Don't do that. Have integrity, okay? Because when everything else is gone, your reputation is what remains. There will come a day when somebody says your name and you're not in that room. There will come a day. What do you want them to say? I trusted that person. I respected that person. He was a great cop. She was a great cop. They treated people fairly. They were always willing to help. That's the reputation you want. It's a damn good reputation to have. Man, getting bit out here. So listen, if you're a recruit or a rookie listening to this, here's what I want you to remember. Please, please, please. Or pass this along to a rookie or recruit. You don't have to be the toughest guy in the room. You don't have to prove yourself every single day. You don't have to know everything. And you don't have to participate in every piece of stupid drama around you. It will suck you in. Stay in your lane. Do your job. Do it well. Learn from good people. Stay away from unnecessary negativity. Protect your mental health. Protect your family. Protect relationships. Maintain that balance. And treat people with respect. Especially the people who are struggling. Because someday, you might be that one struggling. And you're going to want somebody to treat you like a human being too. I guarantee it. And here's the biggest thing I want you to understand. The goal isn't simply to survive your career. Okay? The goal is to finish your career and still recognize the person that is looking back at you at that mirror. Don't lose your integrity. Don't lose your integrity. Don't lose your compassion. Don't lose your family. Don't lose yourself. Don't lose yourself. Because that badge, that badge is important. That uniform is important. The job, sure. It's important. But underneath that uniform is just you, a human being. And that human being needs to be taken care of too. So to every recruit who's just starting, welcome to the greatest profession in the world. To every rookie who's trying to find their way, keep learning. To every veteran who's been around for years, remember what it was like when you were new. Okay? And maybe instead of criticizing the rookie who has too many questions, you know, take the time to teach them. Because someday they're going to be a veteran. And hopefully they'll pass those lessons down to somebody else. That's how we make this profession better. One officer, one firefighter, one EMT, one dispatcher, one first responder. Thank you for spending your day with me on the Positive Pathway podcast presented by the Behind the Badge Project. If you got something out of today's episode, please share it with a recruit. Share it with a rookie. Just share it with somebody who's thinking about entering this profession. Because maybe, one conversation can change the direction of, somebody's career. You never know. That's exactly why we're having these conversations. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And until next time, let's keep bridging that gap one day at a time.